Well, it is week 3, 520. I hope everybody had a great first 2 weeks to the course. And before we get into anything on week 3, I just want to say that it was really good to get to read not only the philosophy papers, where a lot of you really shared and made connections to your current assignments, your current sites. But I'm looking forward to assignment 2, going through those tables and seeing how you connected some of the different historical pieces of curriculum, the different types or modes or different philosophies, and how you connected those to what you're doing now. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope this week to get those graded by week or by Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe, as well as your one discussion post. Just know if you have a B minus, C, really C plus, anything lower than a B, Concordia policy is to be recommended for academic warning. And what that does is it just sends a message to Concordia staff that you may need a little help or support. And no, that's not something we do because it's about liking you or even thinking that you're not doing a good job. It's just saying that, hey, this student may need a little more help or a little more contact from someone above the instructor. So after I do that grading, if anyone's sitting really B minus C area, they will be recommended for academic warning. And like I said, don't freak out about that. It sounds much, much worse than it is. It really is just trying to make sure you are getting the connections you need. If you have questions about any of that, let me know. Week 3, though, starting off with a quote from one of my favorite movies, The Breakfast Club. We're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it. That's all. And that's a sentiment I actually tell my students. I'm at a middle school site saying that, the same insecurities you have now, the same uniquenesses you have now, the same issues you have right now, you're probably going to have as an adult. You just get better at hiding the negative things and emphasizing the positive things. And so really just think that uniqueness is really what a big part of what makes you a great educator. And so then moving forward, one thing note right here for the announcement is just to make sure, one, use outside sources for not only your discussion posts, but your assignments. And they should be cited in text and in the reference page using APA. And if you have trouble with APA, be sure to use these 2 links over here, the Writing Studio and the Library Resources. I know some of you have started working on your library orientation assignment, which is not synchronous, meaning you do not have to meet up. That's from the last time I did 520. They changed it this time around, and I missed it. So thanks for students pointing that out. There's a video embedded in that assignment, and you can do it at your own pace. You can turn it in before week 5. As they get turned in, I will grade them for you guys. And so there's a lot of resources there for sure. So this week, we're looking at a lot more detail at curriculum design and assessment and the factors that can influence the process. And so we're only in one chapter, so I'm going to pop over that real quick. Chapter 5 in the book, and it's social foundations of curriculum. So there's a couple, 7 areas within this chapter, but a few that I really liked was the difference between education and schooling. That's a really interesting part of the chapter. And then jumping down, the difference between moral character and performance character. They seem similar, but they're not. And then why schools disengage students that are at risk. That's kind of a really big topic of a lot of those students, whether it's academic or behavioral. School's not really made for them. The system we're in really actually has them spiraling down, and part of it's the system. And then 7, peer, racial, and income groups might affect school achievement and performance. So only one chapter, but there's a lot of heavy hitters in that chapter. So be sure to spend some time in 5, because it's also going to be part of your discussion posts as well. So that is the reading for week 3. Then you have 3 videos. So I'm going to pop through them real quick. This RSA anime is about 11 minutes long. This one is only 2 minutes long. Taylor Male performs undivided attention. And then the cultivating video is about 9 minutes long. And so 9, 30, about 40 minutes, right? About 40 minutes of video. So plan accordingly for those videos. And you need to watch those to do your discussion post, your first discussion post, which is look at those three. And sorry, those links, those titles are wrong. I'll fix that for you. But the three videos, and then how does the culture you create in your classroom work to motivate your students? Where do your motivation factors and more education intersect? And then looking at your students' many and varied home situations. So you need to answer some of those. And whether or not, obviously I bullet point here in the announcements, but if you pop over the thread, there it is right there. And so you can see undivided attention and the cultivating intrinsic video, which I have that titled wrong right here. It's not a Dan Peek interview, so I will switch that for you guys. So make sure you do your initial post and then also your responses, and don't forget to do your discussion post. It's a big part of your, not only your grade point wise, but also your learning in this class. So make sure you get that. And then the second post is have one person, you only need one person of the group member, post a link with anyone can view, sharing property, to your slide deck, whether it's Google Slides or a Prezi or PowerPoint. You would probably have to upload. I highly recommend Google Slides. And there's no participation on this one. It's just making sure it's up. But if you see something that's really amazing or something that sticks out to you and you have a question about it, make sure to ask, post it on there. You can still get good discussion off of that. So there's your discussion questions. And then the assignment for this week is your group project, which I talked about last week. So let me just go through this a little bit more detail. So you're going to make a slide presentation of some sort. Google Slides is by far the most convenient for you guys to collaborate on. So a title slide, your participant names, and I'm not going to read them in full detail, but go through and make sure you understand all these pieces. So what's an obstacle or challenge a student might face? Really more in the social aspect, social emotional aspect of school, but there can be other pieces too that fit within here. Family norms, poverty level, bullying, peer pressure, family expectations, cultural expectations, all that kind of good stuff. And then you're going to do some slides on explaining what all that is and explaining the background of character and moral education. You can pull from chapter 5, but if we're trying to say there's a problem within this area, what exactly is this area, right? We need to define that and kind of look. Stats would be good here. Slides, sorry, not slides, images, even a little video, GIF, anything like that to help explain. And then you need to have an activity, and so you need about 4 slides to walk through this activity to help improve on that challenge or whatever that focus you picked. And so make sure there's details about planning, implementing, assessing the effectiveness, all that kind of good stuff. So you'll want directions, you'll want what they're actually doing, if there's a rubric, or how you're going to judge that this is being effective. It's hypothetical, so you don't actually have to use the activity. What proactive steps you would use to put it into action with your students, your desired outcome, and then something that sums up your slides. And so remember when using slides, make sure to utilize the notes section. You're not going to put everything you're going to say on the actual slides themselves. That'd be way too much text. But you can use that notes section to actually type out what you were going to say, or put more detail on what you're going to say. And you can also put your references there. I know you're going to have a slide at the end with sources, but you can put them within each slide. You can put them in that notes page. Some groups in the past have actually built this, and they got on a Hangouts together and recorded it using like Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic, and then uploaded that video. You can totally do that. That's awesome to be able to hear when people present. But you minimum you have to put a link to the slides, and downloading the slides as PDF and then uploading them into the box as well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out for sure. I want to make sure you guys have what you need to get this going. And then looking forward to next week, week 4, the halfway point. Only one chapter again, chapter 6. We start looking at essential questions because you're going to actually start the next few assignments not the library assignment, but week 4, 6, and 7. It's essential questions, and then you're going to be developing a unit plan and then a unit assessment plan. So the assignment next week is fairly important because it kind of is the basis for 3 major projects for this week. Once again, if there's anything you need, remember always on the announcements, I have everything laid out there. And you can always go into week 3 and look through week 3. It's there as well. On the announcements page, scroll at the very, very bottom. You have your assignment outline and due dates. And so if you have questions, you can't find something or really struggling, reach out. Don't wait till the last minute. Text, email, call, whatever works best for you. Here's to a great week 3, and I hope everyone has a great week at their site as we power through October into November before Thanksgiving break hits. Have a great week.